Hi and welcome to another video by Matthew Gaming Vids. In this video I'm going to be tanking on my warrior tank, which is at level 66 at the moment, and I'm going through Auchenai Crypts. One of these monsters, well, they spawn from the beginning to I think nearly the end of this dungeon, which where you attack one of the Draenei's, they will automatically spawn another random Draenei, which is non-elite, but it doesn't matter what you do to the monsters to start the fight, they will always spawn another monster. I think this makes the fight a lot more enjoyable, as there will be a lot more monsters to fight. And as you can see by the first pull, you can CC some of the monsters, so you don't have to fight so many. But then again, I don't think that will be classed as fun, if you know what I'm talking about. I will be going through these dungeons as if you are a tank, so you may want to ignore some of the tactics I give. But then again, if you are a tank in here, you might want to listen a bit more closely. So, some of these monsters you are pulling at the beginning can CC you, so you want to get your dots up as fast as possible. As a warrior, what you want to do is rend and then thunderstomp to spread your rend round all the monsters you are fighting. Also look for a curse on your teammates, especially a healer, as if you can see that on them, that normally means they have just come out of a mind control or going into a mind control, and according to that you need to, well, you might need to pop a cooldown to survive, or as they don't hit very much, if you don't pull much, you won't need to pop any cooldowns at all in this dungeon. But I like to mix things up and pull quite a lot and keep the pulls coming to make it more enjoyable and make the whole experience of this group faster, and maybe they'll enjoy the game a bit better. Because when I first started playing this game, I had a tank that pulled FA like 10 seconds after a fight. It'd wait, ask if everybody's okay, pull the next trash mob, and then do the same again. And I just got really bored of this type of pulling, so I decided to do it my way and try to keep the pull going as long as possible until either the DPS need mana or the healer, or even if I need to wait for a cooldown to come off to pull the next lot. I'll also say there are some monsters that just path around in this instance. They are neutral to you, so if you don't want to fight them, you don't have to. And also, I must add, they are non-elite, so they don't grant you much experience for killing them. And any DPS at this level should be able to take them out solo. So, if you just want to assign one of your DPS to kill them, I would do that if you want. And that's a little bit more experience in this dungeon. As this is one of the 4 auctioning dungeons, you will find quite a lot of ore in this place, and also some herbs. So if you got them 2 professions, feel free to mine them up as you go along in this dungeon. Or if there isn't anybody else doing it, just wait until you've finished and cleared the whole dungeon, and then go back and mine and herb away. So we're coming up to the Bridge of Souls now. What this means is that there's random ghosts pathing around on this bridge, and you need to be careful so that you don't get knocked off by these ghosts. As if you run into one of them, they will show themselves and then start casting a spell which will knock you back. And now this bridge does have parts where you can fall off, so you need to be very careful. Or just carry on running, as if you carry on running, sometimes they just miss you altogether. So after you've done the Bridge of Souls, you'll come to the first boss. This boss is called Shirak the Dead Watcher. All this boss will do is put a slow casting debuff onto your party members. I think this stacks up to about 9, and by that time your healer won't be able to put any castable heals on you. This is okay if you have a druid, as they can just continuously hot you up and you'll be completely fine. But I must just add, the DPS we had in this dungeon are brilliant, and they managed to get the boss down before it turned out to be any kind of hassle. Now if you don't have as good DPS as we did, there's another tactic that you need to look out for, which is called, well, it doesn't have really a name, but it puts a bomb under a party member, and you can tell if you've got a bomb under you by the colour, as you should see a glowing, I think it's red or yellow under you, and eventually that will explode and do quite a lot of damage to that party member, unless they move out of the way. Right, so we're moving up to the next room, which is actually called Chamber of the Restless. This has 2 kind of monsters in it, but you shouldn't have that much trouble here. I still thought I were on my paladin, so I pulled the whole room, and this were quite a challenge and were very fun at the same time. So if you are tanking this, make sure you've got a good healer and go ahead and pull the whole room. If you are a paladin though, if you are getting low and you've used your cooldowns, remember to use Holy Wrath, as this will stun all the skeletons you are currently fighting. The worst monster in this part is called the Raging Skeleton, and every so often these will turn red. When they've turned red, they have become about, I think it were 20% more damage and attack speed bonus, so you need to be very careful when you're tanking these. And if your gear isn't up to scratch, you will very nearly die here. My gear consists of bind on account items and then a few blues and greens from this level. After that dead room, we go back to the Draenei's. And now the next room after that will be called the Crypt of Remembrance. This will have about 2 monsters and the boss in. One of the monsters are skeletons. These don't do much damage on their own, but in the group of, I think it's about 10 to 20 of them, they do pack quite a punch, so you need to be careful of this. But if you just attack the Necromancer, you should be just fine with the AoE from your rend going to them. Depending on your DPS, you'll either see 1 boss or 2 bosses. Now, the first boss is called Exarch Malodar, and the other one, which is his sort of ghost-like thing, is called Avatar of the Martyrand. Our DPS was so good here that we didn't even have to do any tactics at all, but I must just add that what this guy does is summon a dark side of one of your party members. This party member does 50% of their damage and can heal the boss and himself. Now if you keep him alive too long, when he's about 25% HP, you will summon this avatar, and this avatar will do more damage and have about as much HP as himself. So if your DPS isn't up to scratch, you will see this guy, but ours were, and I don't think we saw him. Thank you for viewing this video. Please remember to like, comment, favourite and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you and goodbye.